So I'm in the middle of my morning, and I'll confess I had a really rough night of rest last night. Our 1-month-old was up like every hour and a half, 2 hours. And so I woke up so tired. And I had this huge to-do list, all good things, all God things, things that God has been calling me to do and that I'm excited to partner with him on, but still just tired. And as I sat with God this morning, he told me rest. And I know for a while God's been calling me to rest kind of more than I normally would, more than that normal Sabbath. But there's just been so much. And as I was sitting there, it was just like God started pouring out this word. And so it's going to get bigger. The full word, I'm going to put it in the podcast on Wednesday. So if you don't already listen, Hear God Every Day it comes out every Wednesday, and it's on, Apple, Spotify, anywhere you could listen to podcasts. And so the full word is going to be there. But for right now, I didn't want to wait to release this because I really feel like God is saying someone needs to hear this. But for someone out there, God is saying the manna won't spoil. And let me explain that just a little. So manna for the Israelites, it was this thing that God had blessed them with, given them, but it was also a task, something that they had to do, had to work at, an act of obedience. But even though they were having to do work, it was also something that nourished them and that fed them. And so for many of you, you have a list of things like that on your plate right now. You have things that you're partnering with God. They're taking work on your end, but it's also nourishing to you, and it's very good, and God has clearly called you to it. But if this word is for you, you know that God has also been calling you into a time of rest. And so what he needs to speak over you is the release of that your manna won't spoil. As you rest, according to what God's called you to, so maybe God's been calling you to a couple hours of rest, maybe it's days, maybe it's weeks, maybe it's months, but you know your time frame. And as you rest in the Lord, know that those callings, those things that you're partnering with God in, those things that are nourishing you, but that are also acts of obedience, that they won't spoil in the wait. They won't spoil in the wait. And you may look with your natural eyes, just like the Israelites did at the manna, and say, well, I don't see any reason why that would happen. How could that be true? Because for them, it wasn't that God sent a different thing on the Sabbath. It wasn't that, there was any reason that was available to their natural eye why this manna wouldn't spoil for the time that they were resting. But God says, even though you look at it and your natural eyes don't see a reason why this calling and this fulfillment and everything will wait while you rest, trust that God will not let your manna spoil.